Now, when it comes to women leaders, there are some additional challenges, let's be honest. It is very difficult still in many parts of the world, and too often in our country, for women to be seen as a leader as opposed to a woman in a leadership position. And that triggers a lot of stereotypes and, frankly, a lot of caricatures about what is and isn't expected. How you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to talk, which is an extra burden that women carry. Historically, and still today, women bear most of the responsibility for family. That's not only marriage and children, but older relatives. My mother lived with us until her death at 92, and my husband was a great support, but it was largely my responsibility even after my daughter was out of the house. So that constant balance is one that, yes, it affects parents, mothers and fathers, children, sons and daughters, but it still is primarily a woman's responsibility. And I think that it requires a level of confidence that many women have to work at acquiring. I have, at this point in my professional life, had many employees, young men and young women. And so I've seen what the research and personal experience shows. When you offer or encourage a young woman to take on additional responsibilities, you want to give her a promotion, you want to expand her range of responsibility, very often a young woman will say, I don't know if I'm ready for that, I don't know if I can do that, I'm not sure I can add that responsibility. I have never had a young man say that. I mean, in fact, it's just a different, it's a different cultural, personal experience, and a lot of young women are their own worst obstacles because they feel that it's just, they're not perfect enough to do what is required. I've seen that changing over time, and I would like to see it continue to change. So I think that there are a lot of really impressive women in the pipeline now, in business and in government, but it still is a struggle. And I'll just end with this one fact, which I read in the Wall Street Journal, so it must be true. The new CEO of General Motors, Mary Barr, who came up through the ranks, she's an engineer, she has proven herself, she has been a leader and a manager, and now is the new CEO, at least as of this time, is being paid only 48% of what her predecessor was paid, who did not come out of the automobile industry, but came out of the financial services side of the economy. And it was a telling reminder that maybe this will change, it should change, but there are still hidden biases that people don't, and when I say people, mostly men, don't even know they have, that operate to a woman's disadvantage. And I think we have to be really honest about that, because if we want to have the best leaders, the best managers, and particularly we want to have the mix that women and men together bring, whether it's government or business, then we've got to be more open, and we have to kind of scrub our own thinking in order to get the best we can possibly obtain. And so I encourage all your women leaders to stay in there, don't get discouraged, don't block yourself by imposing perfectionist, impossible standards on yourself. Develop, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, skin like a rhinoceros. Take criticism seriously but not personally, and do what you love. And if what you're doing is what you love, then I think you'll be successful.